Welcome back to Grade 7 Geography, Unit Number 1, Physical Patterns in a Changing World. This is Lesson Number 4. Why is climate important? And what I'm going to ask you to do right at the start of this video is put the video on pause so that you can take a look at this world map here on the title slide. I want you to take a look at different patterns which you see. Um, Take a look at the legend and then think about what this world map is showing us. So put the video on pause now because we'll talk about this briefly at the start of tomorrow's class. Alright, let's get started. Listening to tourists talk about Canadian weather is funny. A lot of people who visit Canada in the summer are surprised to find that there is no snow. A lot of the confusion is caused because people do not know the difference between weather and climate. And I couldn't help but throw in uh, this internet meme. Weather is the short-term conditions of the air in a particular place on a particular date. For example, in plain English, we could say that today's weather is cloudy and cool. Climate is the average weather of an area over a long period of time. Canada has a cold winter climate. This means that Canada has longer, colder winter conditions, but it still has warm summer periods. Um, I really enjoyed this picture of the Rideau Canal in Ottawa. Just really neat. Somebody's taken two pictures of Ottawa, one in winter, one in summer. The exact same place, the same part of the Rideau Canal, but it just shows you a good comparison between uh, colder weather patterns and much warmer weather patterns. Like landforms, climate affects us in important ways. Climate affects what types of crops we can grow and how much food we can grow. For example, tropical fruits can only be grown in warm, sunny climates. Climate also affects what clothes we wear and the types of shelters we build. Earth has a long history of changing climate. Climate change means changes in long-term weather patterns caused by natural events or human activity. Examples of climate change include changes in temperature, moisture, or wind patterns. In the past, climate change was very gradual as things changed over hundreds or thousands of years. Now, climate change tends to happen much quicker. We have seen a number of changes from decade to decade or even from year to year. And this world map here just shows you that scientists and geologists and geographers are concerned about climate change and how it is going to affect the amount of agriculture that can be performed in different regions across the world. Most scientists agree that human activity is causing climate to change much quicker than ever before. Today, our main concern is global warming. Global warming is an increase in the average global temperature across Earth's surface. So, certain things we can't control, they're just natural. Okay? Solar radiation happens regardless of what we do. Right? Precipitation, evaporation, condensation, heat rising into the atmosphere. That's all normal. Those are normal Earth processes. The problem is when uh, we're burning coal, oil, gas. What we're doing is we're actually creating a lot more carbon dioxide. We're putting a lot more heat into the atmosphere. And we're going to be talking about this term, greenhouse gases, a whole lot more in future lessons. Global warming and climate change are already having a serious impact on the way humans and other life forms live. Hotter, drier climates are affecting people's ability to grow different types of crops. Some areas are experiencing drought and water shortages. Global warming is causing polar ice caps and glaciers to melt. This is leading to rising sea levels and flooding. Polar bears and other species that rely on cold climates are now finding their survival is threatened. So, images like this one on the right, they might look cute, but the fear is that this is what polar bears and other species who rely on large glaciers in the Arctic are going to face on a widespread basis. 25 years ago, hurricanes and tropical storms were not a concern for people living in Canada and the US. Today, however, we are seeing more extreme weather conditions such as hurricanes and tornadoes. Communities in North America must now make changes to protect their safety. Unfortunately, people in developing regions, such as Asia, Africa, and Central America, do not have enough money or resources to build stronger shelters and buy emergency relief items. So I'm going to mention this in tomorrow's class, but we're very fortunate to be living where we are. Scenes like these are not common in Toronto. Uh, we'll get minor after effects of tropical storms. That's where we'll have a little more rainfall for 1 or 2 days. Um, but certainly seems like these are all too common um, farther south of where we are living. Australia was affected by climate change in 2009. Farmers who used the Murray River as a major water source found that there was not enough water for agriculture. The problem started 10 years earlier as Australia started to experience its worst drought, lack of rain, in 100 years. What made things worse was that Australia's average temperature had been rising by 2 degrees Celsius each year. As the temperature increased, farmers used the Murray River to irrigate their land. By the 1990s, there was no longer enough water for everyone to use. The water level fell so low that salt water from the ocean filled the Murray River and killed freshwater fish and other species that used to live in or around the river. Other parts of Australia experienced the opposite effect. They received too much rain. Areas like Queensland experienced months of storms and heavy rains. While scientists hoped that the changes in Australia's climate would not be permanent, they agreed that action had to be taken. Australia introduced a clean energy future plan in order to reduce its amount of coal production and carbon emissions. The government introduced a law that made the country's 500 largest polluters pay a tax that was based on how much they polluted. The tax money collected would go towards helping customers switch to clean, renewable energy sources such as solar power and wind power. All right, so it's time for a check of our understanding. So what you're going to do when I finish speaking is you are going to try this fill in the blank activity. You will read each sentence carefully and then determine which word or words should go in each statement. If you find you're struggling with this activity, it means you need to go back and watch this video at least 2 more times. And then when you're ready, when you're feeling confident, put the video on pause. Please make sure to write down your answers on a piece of paper because we will take this up in tomorrow's class. So put the video on pause right now. And until our next class, this concludes today's video.